The team behind Manjummel Boys did everything by the book. They licensed the song, they credited the composer. The film went on to make 200 crore rupees. And then seemingly out of nowhere, Ilayaraja sued them for 2 crore rupees. So wait, if they did everything by the book and paid the label, why are they in the courtroom? Because under copyright, a song is a stack of 3 different assets. And here the producers only paid for one, which did not really cover the song itself. Now here's why the producers thought they were safe, but they actually messed up. Every film song is a stack of 3 things. The lyrics, the composition, which is the melody you actually hear, and the master recording, which is the file you hear when you hit play. When the Manjummel Boys team called the label, they got rights only to the master recording because the label only owns the audio file. The composer still owns the composition, the melody within. To take a 1991 recording and put it in a 2024 film, you will need something called a synchronization license. This is a separate permission from a separate person for a separate check. You may wonder that if this was the law, why is everybody just hearing about it? That's because for the longest time, the industry was ruled by the producers. Back in 1997, the Supreme Court ruled that if a composer writes for a film, the producer owns that melody. That was the rule, period. I've seen these older contracts. The composer would be paid a one-time fee, which could ultimately be peanuts as compared to what the song made, while the label kept making millions for decades. But in 2012, the law changed. The parliament gave the right to royalties to creators, which they can't sign away even if they wanted to. It's a permanent right to get paid whenever their work is used outside the original film. Now, outside the original film is important here. If you take a 1991 Tamil hit and drop it into a 2024 Malayalam film, then that is a new use case. And that means that you have to pay the composer again. But Ilayaraja isn't just asking for royalty checks. He's using something called moral rights. It's a rule that says you cannot mess with my work or change my work in a way that could harm my reputation. He used this principle to go after Sun Pictures for a teaser called Coolie. And in 2025, the court actually blocked a film called Dude for the exact same reason. And this case did not end with a sorry, it ended with 50 lakh rupees in settlement. By the time Manjummel Boys released, the industry realized that this wasn't a one-off thing, this was a pattern. Now here is something interesting. Last year, there were reports that said that Manjummel Boys had settled with Ilayaraja for 60 lakh rupees. However, the producers came forward and quickly dispersed these as rumors and said no settlement had been reached. So for this dispute, we are still in limbo. Before 2012, you could simply call a label, license a song and be done with it. But now you have separate licenses, payments, and the creators are finally getting a seat at the table. So what does this actually change for the movies that you watch? First, the checklist got bigger. Filmmakers now have to assess the flow of rights, where rights exist, and seek permissions from each of those entities. Second, nostalgia also got expensive. Expect song budgets or movie budgets to go up because creators are also finally getting their due. And third, massive catalogs like Ilayaraja's 4,500 songs are now legal minefields that producers have to navigate very carefully. Now, whether this case ends in a settlement or a win, it's very clear that the days of treating your creators like employees are over. They're now partners in creating the films. Tell me in the comments, should a composer who was paid for creating a song decades ago be paid again when the song is reused today? If you want to understand the deals behind entertainment, subscribe. I'm Meera Mishra.